Madam Toastmaster, ladies and gentlemen, there's a saying that resonates in my personal and professional life that I keep coming back to, and it's be quick to judge yourself and slow to judge others. This saying may resonate with you if you've heard another saying that goes along the lines of, when you assume, you make an out of you and me. And I know that's true. And I'm here to share with you a few examples of how I know it's true, because it's happened to me and it's happened to people around me. A few months ago, I was rushing downtown, late as usual. My friend was driving, and we were going through that parking lot. Many of you might know, it's called Biltmore Avenue. And we got stopped behind this car that decided just to stop in the middle of the street. And we were late and we were rushing. They were being really insensitive to our schedule. And my friend who was driving decided he would let them know how insensitive they were being by honking. So he honked. Right after he honked, an elderly couple got out of the car with some assistance and their fine evening attire, obviously prepared to go to some function downtown, and needed some help getting from their car to their location. In another situation last night, actually, I was in a really grueling yoga class, and there were two new students who were in the class in front of me, and they were really struggling. They decided they needed a break and they were going to leave. The instructor decided to stop at that time and draw attention to these students to let them know that they really should stay in the class. She wasn't really aware of what their mental or physical or emotional state was at that point, but she garnered the rest of the students to encourage them to stay in the room as well and to stay for the rest of the class. The students stayed. They were obviously embarrassed and humiliated. They stayed for a few minutes and they had left. The teacher proceeded to talk about how better the students who stayed were, obviously because they had stayed through the class, and how disappointed she was with these students. We had no idea what these students were going through during that class. I heard some folks mention after class that perhaps there was an asthma issue. We don't know. Perhaps there was a really bad day. We don't know what their physical or mental state was. But I bring this up to illustrate a point, that when you assume, you really are making a beep out of you and me. It's so easy to find problems with others, isn't it? So easy to find what others are doing wrong and what you are obviously doing better. Someone famous did say, be quick to judge yourself and slow to judge others. And I think about this in my professional career as well. I worked many years ago at a food bank, and I worked directly with the agencies that were providing direct food support and food assistance to people that were down on the luck and that needed support. And I would hear a lot of conversations along the lines of, I can't believe these people are coming to my food pantry for food. Did you see what car they were driving? Did you see what outfit that lady had on? Do you know what neighborhood they live in? So many judgments. In these economic times, we know that so many of us who are fortunate one year can be on the brink of a crisis the next year. These judgments were harmful to the clients, and they were harmful to the community as well. I would often point out to folks and try to have a conversation and encourage folks to ask questions, and ask questions about what you don't know. For example, we don't know who had to borrow that car to get to the food pantry. We don't know who used to be in the real estate industry and had nice clothes and had nice things, who are now out of a job and seeking support. We don't know if that woman who has nice nails works at a nail salon. All these judgments were harmful to the clients and to the community. In my current line of work, there are a lot of physicians and healthcare providers that donate care, and we hear a lot of the same concerns and questions about the clients who are receiving their services. There's a lot of questions about the cell phones and the iPads and the different things that clients have. And there's a judgment that's going on there. And there's a judgment of other people without full information about the situation that's going on. I'm not here to preach to you guys because I'm not a preacher. I'm here to bring up some questions and some considerations that have really impacted me in recent days and years and weeks from both my personal and professional career. And in thinking about these situations, I was drawn to some of the teachings that we hear from other religious and faith communities, and I want to draw your attention to two of those that seem to really parallel this concept of being slow to judge others and quick to judge yourself. And one of them may be familiar to you guys. It's from the book of Luke, and it is instructing on this concept, and it's a passage that says, "How can you say to your brother, 'Brother, let me remove the speck that is in your eye,' when you yourself do not see the plank that is in your eye? Hypocrite, first remove the plank from your own eye, and then you will see clearly to remove the speck that is in your brother's eye." And in Judaism, which I was interested to learn, there's a connection with the celebration and the holiday of Rosh Hashanah. These are referred to as the days of awe. And the days of awe, I'm new to this teaching, are a time for introspection and for reflection on one's transgressions and for making amends with others. And the 10 days, they conclude with Yom Kippur. It's a day of atonement in which you do self and community examination and prayer. And this can involve a lot of concerns and issues, and one of them is just really how to judge the personality and the traits of others. There's also the book of Leviticus in the Hebrew Bible that addresses this idea of judging others. And it says, "Do not favor the poor or show deference to the rich. Judge your neighbor fairly. You shall not hate your kinsman in your heart. Reprove your neighbor, but incur no guilt against your kinsfolk. And love your neighbor as yourself." These teachings stood out to me because I really reflected on this idea of being slow to judge others and being quick to judge yourself. And I see these themes recurring through different faith traditions, and perhaps they resonate with you as well in your either faith or personal belief system. And I'm not here to preach a certain faith tradition over one or another, but just encouraging you guys to think and to perhaps even take a little bit of your own time to be in the days of awe, and to perhaps even thinking about having a day of an atonement in your own world in which you do take this time to examine, to think about those judgments that we are making of others. I also encourage you to think with compassion before you speak, and to ask those questions before making the judgment. To ask those questions about what you don't know. To ask questions about what you might be speculating about. And finally, in conclusion, in addition to thinking about being quick to judge yourself and slow to judge others, I encourage you, when you're rushing down Biltmore Avenue, to pause before you honk.